Hello, this is Vishal, and now we have another session of the day. So that's very interesting sessions, but before that I'm giving thanks for your nice comments and those new user added to my YouTube channel. So and that put the comments related to the new videos and whatever be the requirements. I'm very happy to see that those commands, and whatever be your requirement, I will fulfill them in my future videos. And I'm here after a long time because of some busy schedules, but will do the things well as I will be free, so we can manage all the things and give you the more videos to that. So first today I'm giving this session for all the new components together. As you have seen my previous tutorials in which we have used the room with your RxJava and RxJava with your retrofit callings, but all these three together I want to be a video in which I will describe to you that how we can save our data on the local database and then retrieve it, so that we can retrieve it more faster, or you want to say that cache on that. But today I will use this data from the web services and make the room tables be there and then show the results on your RecyclerView. So these things we need it for the components as an RxJava, room, retrofit, ViewModel, Livedata. That's all. So as this is our Gradle builds, and if you want to know more about that, so you can see my previous tutorials, and also I will upload this doc for you. So the steps be very simple. We have to go for the web services, that's your retrofit calling, and then get data using a model, our user model or whatever be your model, and save data in a database using the room with the help of RxJava and retrieve it, and that's be from our database. So these things we have to learn. We have a RecyclerView, so I will show you. This is our data PHP part and the local server we have, and this is our JSON that's been our local server. The tag name be our this is your record. So that is most important, because of I described to you in my RxJava how we can retrieve it with the tag name using serialized. Because of that is important, whenever we work with the retrofit we need to make the serialized name. Okay, and this is our local host database, and maybe this is your server side, so whatever we, but I am showing to you using our local database, and then the same things I will put it in our room database, that I will also be described to you. Okay, so let's see what happened. This is our dependencies, this is our main activity, nothing in it. These are Android manifest that we need user permission, internet permission, sorry, and here we have a simple RecyclerView, nothing else. So this is our simple structure. And one more thing we need it, because of we need to show in our RecyclerView, so we need an inner view in which we have a simple first name, last name and age, because of we have three things here, that's your first name, last name and age. Okay, so let us start it. So for that, first this is your blank view model be here, so we need more folders, that is new package, room, then we go for the new package, remote, and view model already be there, and we need a package model, and also we need a package adapter. These things I already described to you in my previous tutorial, but one more time I will show to you so you can learn well. So this is our first model, that is called the user model, because of we have a user, first name, last name and age. So for this, if you want to put the IDs be here, because of we need this ID to put in the database, so that's be your auto retrieve, or you can make it auto generate, we can say it. Okay, so that is so this is very simple, that UID you have to put, nothing else. The second thing is private string, that's be your first name, private string, that's your last name, private int, that's your age. Because of we are using the retrofit, so that's an important, already described to you, need at serialized name, and what the serialized name be here, it is our first name, so the same name tag we can use it. So that's your name is equals to first name. Okay, so doesn't mean that we have to use that name tag, we just simply say first name. Okay, and the second is your at serialized name, this is your last name, and at we have a serialized name, that is be age. Okay, so that's very simple. And here if you want to make your constructor, so we need 3 parameters, first name, last name, and if you want go for the getter setters, as you like, you can retrieve your data. Okay, so that's very simple. So this user be also used in our room database. How? So first I will access the things from the remote using the retrofit, and then make it the room. So then after that I will make it entity. So first to simply make it a user model, nothing else. Then we go for the remote services, and in the remote services first we have to make a API service. Very simple, and it is your interface. Okay, and this is your add get, and in this what we needed that folder, that means this is our local retrieve, so I want with the folder, it's your users, and read user I want to get access the thing, so this is your users, and read user dot php, it's in the simple, so I need to get it. So for this we have to make a call, so for this call we need to make a user list, a kind of list in which we can get the data, and the name is get user list. Okay, so for this we have to create a simple user list, and in this user list what happened, we have to make the things be as records, because of we need to get the things. So say at serialized name, and this serialized name be your records. Okay, very simple. You can learn that my previous tutorials also I already described to you, so you can see that this is our tag. Okay, so this is our tag name records, and also make it expose. I already described to you why we use it, and this is a private list, and this is our user, and this user be as a user list, and this is our new array list. and if you want to make it as a getter setters, so you can generate the getter setters for this list. Okay, so we can get and set the things. So in API services, I think this our complete API service with the user list be here. So whatever we what we have to retrieve, we need to make like that. Okay, and here one more thing we have to make, that is our retro class. So in a retro class, I already many times I described to you how you can make your retro class with here. So in this class, what we need a URL. So that's your private static final string, and that is your base URL. And at this time I need be HTTP config, so you can see that on which it's be going. It is 192.162.152.2. so just make it as an HTTP 192.168.148.2. so easy. And this is our private static retrofit get retro instance, you can make it as, and so we can return these things. So for this we need a JSON. So this is a JSON, and I already described to you why we need this JSON builder. Okay, sorry, it's new JSON builder dot, that's your set lenient, because of we have to retrieve our data as in a text, so that's with a simple JSON. And this is your create, that already I described to you in my previous tutorials when I used the simple retrofit, so you learn that from there. And this is your return new retrofit, and this retrofit dot builder. Okay, and dot base URL be as in a base URL. Okay, and this is your dot add converter factory, and this is your JSON converter factory dot create. Very simple. And what need to create? JSON. And this is your dot build. Everything is fine. So that's very simple. Retrofit get retro instance be here. And now what to do? Make a public static API service get API, so we can call it anywhere, not to create instance again and again. So that's we have return get retro instance dot create, and this is your API service dot class. Simple. So you can get access this retro class anywhere. So this our remote things be ready, and our list be ready. So what to do? We need a simple repositories. Okay, so I'm making a repository, that's your user repository. Repository is what? That is the interaction between your database or a web services to your view model or your main activity. It depends where you use it. So this is your public class user repository, and this is your private context. This is your context, and simple, this is our private live data. And what kind of live data I want? Be a list. I want be the list of user. So this thing I want be as in a live data. Okay, so that's your list live data, and that call your new mutable live data. That's already described you in my previous tutorials. So this is your public and user repository, and in this repository what we have to pass? We have to pass a context, and this dot context be your context. Okay, so that's easy. And now we have to create one more field, one more function. That's be your public void get user list. Okay, in this user list, how we can retrieve our services? Simple, API service, that's your retro class dot get API service. And now what to do? You have to call user list. And what kind of user list? We have a user list call, and this is your API service dot get user list. So we can call this. Okay, add user list call dot enqueue, and this is your new callback. And so these things we can retrieve it. Very simple. So now first we have to check that our values be here or not. So this is our tag. So here I'm giving the tag be user list. Okay, and this the message be your response dot body, and otherwise you just check it by your t dot get message. So we can check that whether it's be fine or not. In the main activity, I'm not using at this time the user view model. I'm just checking that using the main activity. So this is your user repository, just for checking. User repository, user repository is equals to new user repository, this, and this is your repository add dot get user list. So first we have to check that on the tracing that it works or not. Okay, so let us start it using Genymotion. Just wait for a minute. Okay, so we run this and let's see what happened. Yeah, this is our user list, so we make it as a user list. So can check the things what happen here on the response body. Okay, so you can see that here it gives some return value to me, so can see more about that. What here, that is your get user list dot get. I just want we at this time I'm not using the loop, just check it what happened with there. So this is our get first name, so we can check that it's a working be there. Okay, so you can see that this is the Vishal. So get 0 positions, we have a get first name, it's a Vishal. So that means we retrieve the data. But now how we can save data, and that is an important thing, important task here. And how we can use this as an RxJava, because of it's working as an async task. Async task be the old method, because of we are using nowadays as an RxJava. So RxJava sync task, how we can use it, that is the most important part of the day. Okay, so how we can get the things on response, and how we can get actions with there, so that I will show to you. Okay, so first we go for the room. How we make a room? Very simple. You just make as in a room Java class, and you can say it as in a user DAO. Okay, so before that you are making the user DAO, we have to make a entity for that. So user entity for that. So we'll describe you how we can make it. First, this is your user interface, user DAO, and because of we are using the room, so we need a DAO. And if you want to learn about that, why we use it, you can go on my detail section in which I have described to you how we can use the room. So here we have a queries. It's very simple in a room queries. If I want with the data from my local database, so that's your select start from users. So what is this users? Because of at this time I have a nothing. So for this we have to go for a user, and in this what we have to create it, we have to make it as a entity. And which entity it is? It's a name as a table name, and this table name is your users. Very simple. And here I want this IDB here, it auto be generate there. So that means at I want to make it something be like this primary key, and this primary key is your auto generate true. I want be, and here I want be the field. In which field we have to same? I want be the same name field be there. So this is your column info, and I want as in the first name on my local database. So it's not be like this, it's be like this. Okay, so this is the difference between the serialized name and column info. Serialized names for retrofit class, and column info for our entity last name. Age. Okay, so this our user table names be ready. Okay, and this is the query for the user DAO, in which we have to get the things, and okay, we'll see that what happened with there. So this is our live data, and this live data I want be as in the form of list, and this list be a kind of user, and that is get all. Okay, so that means this annotation tag be now gone. Okay, and also I want to insert first. So first we need to insert, then we can get all. So insert, this is your on conflict, because of if there be already be data there, so that means on conflict save we can use it. So on conflict strategy, and that strategy I want be the replace. So different kind of strategies be there, I will describe you in my coming videos. So this is our void, and I want to insert all, and whenever you want to insert all, so that means this is your user, you can say dot dot dot, and this is your users. Very simple. So that means you can insert complete values whatever be from you are getting from your user list. So now the second part is, in a room we have to make a user database. So user database be like a abstract, and this abstract class be as we are using at database, and this is your entities. Entities b is your user dot class. Okay, and what we need it as a version, because of version is most important. And if you want to put the export schema, that is the false. Okay, so these be the things, and simple abstract class, this already described to you in my previous room tutorials. Okay, and I will share the link of the simple room, so you can learn. Those are new users on my description. Okay, so here what we have to do, we have to extend first this database, and at that be your room database. Simple. Okay, and now we have a public abstract and user DAO, user DAO as a user DAO simple. Okay, so that's be a simple structure of the room and the retrofit. Now what is the role of RxJava? That means all these savings, insert and retrieving, I want be as an async task, that is behind the scenes, so we can use that be RxJava. Then these things be, we have to put it in our user view model, and also we need a simple holder class to hold these things. Okay, so let us start it. Okay, so let us start it. Here we have a user database, that's already be user DAO. We have a user entity where the table name be user. So what about the user DB, and how we can get accessing the things using the RxJava? I will show to you. So this is your get user list from the retrofit call, and I want this retrofit call be as a thread, and on that thread, that is, it work as a async task as in always, all times, but nowadays we are working with the RxJava. So that means how we can get access these things using the using this new approach, as I already described to you in my previous tutorial. So for that, you have to use this completable dot from action. You can say that new action, okay, and this is your thread. This is your thread always be, and you have to make this thread as the main thread. So for this you have to observe. So we have observe on which kind of scheduler it is. Android schedulers, and that is a main thread. And then we have to check it. We have to subscribe. We need to subscribe as a schedulers dot io, that means input output, and last we have to subscribe it, and in this subscribe we have to finish this work as a new completable observer. That means we have the three things on complete, on error, and on subscribe. So the thing, we just go for the on complete and or error. So in this toast you have to make this, our data, insert it, and for this error, if there be an error on that, so you can go for toast some error. Okay, so that's very easy. But how you can push this data be here? That means you need to call this function here. So you can say that for int I is equals to 0, I is less than your response dot body dot get user list dot size I plus plus. Okay, and in this size we have to use this our user values be. So that means we have to insert the things in a new user. So for this new user, that means we need a response dot body dot get user list dot get I dot get first name. Simply copy paste it, and here you have to make it as a get age, and here you have to make it as a get last name. So everything is fine. Now for database reference, what we have to do here, you have a private user database, and in this user database you have a room dot database builder context, and in this context what we need it, you can see that we need to pass our user database dot class, then we need to pass it as a name of database. So I am using a Vishal database name and dot build. Okay, so everything is be here. This is our database, room database, user repository, and once it inserted in, how we can insert it, that is your user database dot user DAO dot our insert all. Okay, and then we insert complete user be here. So you can see that in our user database. So this is our users, so we have to push that. So let's check that what happened in it. If it is fine, it insert the values be there, otherwise it show me the issue. So let's what happened in it. Just wait for it, it's running. So here if you see that a very simple scenario behind this. First we retrieve our data from the web URLs and then push it into the room. So let's check that if there be the pushing the room, and it give me the call method be here. Toast is data inserted. So very easily data inserted. How you can cross check the things data inserted or not? You just go for the view tool window and your device file explorer. Okay, so in this you can see that you have a number of devices be here. So you check that data. This is your data, this is your data again, and inside data we have room retro example, our package. So room retro example, this is our room retro example, this is our database. I think it not refreshes. One more time we have to refresh this database. Let's check it. It's not showing me that Vishal. Okay, so that means that is on the cache. You can say that this is your, so you all put these things be save as on a desktop. Okay, and what to do for that on a desktop? This is your Vishal database. One more file be missing here. Remove the old one. Okay, so you can see that on your SQL you have to push all these three things be here. Okay, let's see it. So yeah, you can see that, and if you want to be the work with the select, start from users and run this. So you can see that this is your values, this is your values Vishal, that is from your server to your local database, that means using the room. Okay, and now we have to put our adapters be here, so we can make it as no need of this. Sometimes refreshing issues be here, but it's easy. Okay, so this is a very simple scenario how we can use this using the RxJava. We insert the values be here, very easy. Now we have to go for our adapter. So you can use either your data binding adapter or simple adapter. At this time I am showing to you a simple user adapter. Okay, So for this, first we need a RecyclerView holder kind of class, so we can push the things be here. So that is our class, as I already described many times to you. So what you do for that, you can make it a user view holder extends, and what we have to extend, always we have to extend the recycler view dot your view holder, and alt enter. Sorry, and here constructor. Okay, so this is a simple, and now we have to use this adapter as an extend your recycler view dot adapter. Which kind of adapter you need it? You need a user adapter dot user view holder, and alt enter. Implement methods. Very easy. Now you have to make a view here. So for view, what we need a layout inflator. So we have a view, we need a layout inflator dot from context. Okay, for this we need a context here, so make it a context, and also we need a list of user. So this is your user and user list, and the same thing you have to pass p here in a constructor. So we'll make it less at this time. First we have to put this context, and when we use this context, that means we have to inflate, and what we have to inflate are dot layout dot inner layout we have, and this is your inner layout. And now we have okay, you need to make it as a parent, and this you have to make it as a position. So this is our parent comma false. So once this view be ready, that we have to return this view, but as a user view holder. That's be your new user view holder view. If you don't like this, you can go for data bindings also. I already described in my tutorials. And here this is a very simple constructor. You have to make a constructor for this. This is your user adapter and context comma live data user list. Sorry, it's not, it is a list. Okay, it is a user list, and you have to pass these things. This is your this dot context is equals to context, and this dot user list is equals to user list. Very easy. Okay, so this everything is fine. Now we have to go for the on bind view holder. So for this, what we need a user, and that is our user list dot get I. Okay, so once this user be ready, that means we have to push in our holder. Okay, so for this, and also we have to count these things be here to user list size. That's easy. And now we have to go for our text views. I am using the f name, l name, h. So here we can say that f name is equals to you can go for this item view dot find view by id r dot id dot first name. The same thing you have to work with this, copy paste. Here you can use as an L name, and here our text reference value be L name. Okay, and here we can go for the age, and here this value be as an age value. Okay, and now we have to put it in your holder. So this is your view user view holder dot f name dot set text, it's your user dot get first name. Okay, so just copy paste it, and this is our L name, get last name, get age, this is age. Okay, so everything is fine, and yeah, it worked. Okay, so we have to pass this view user adapter be on your main activity. So now we have to go for the main activity. Yeah, yes, one more thing remain here, that is called your user view model. So for this user view model, what we needed, we have to extend these things be as in a view model, and the same thing we have to work with this user view model, that is you have to get accessing the things. That means you need to make it as a private context, as in a context, and private user repository as in a user repository. Very easy. And one more thing we needed, that is called your live data, and this live data be as a list kind of live data, and you have to put as in a as in a user. So this is your user list data and new mutable live data, and here you have to make a public user view model in which we have to pass the context, and under this context you can see that this dot context is equals to context, and also user repository is equals to new user repository, this or a context, and now you have to get access the things be here. So this is our user list data and user repository dot. Okay, so first we have to make our mutable live data be here on the user repository. So let's check it. So this is our list live data be here mutable. So what to do for that, you just right click here and say generate a getter for this live data. Okay, and this is your list live data, and you get access the data from your database. So what to do, you can say that user database dot user data get all. So that means you can fetch all data be here, and that data becomes in your view model class, as in the user list data and user repository get live data. Okay, and if you want to get access, the same thing be here. If you want that from the user model, so you can generate the getter, otherwise no need for this. Sometimes we want. Okay, and one more thing, yes, you have to create one more method, that is get users. So we can fetch these values be here again. So just copy paste it. I mean, on a click or whatever you wanted, you can fetch the things from the database. Okay, everything is fine. Or if you want be the user list data, you can same follow the rule, be on your set getters. Sorry. Okay, so you can call this on your main activity. So our main activity be here. Yeah, you can remove this user repository, but or you can put this be here on the model, but at this time I'm just showing to you that because it's already we can get access, so no need of this again. So you can use the checks or boolean checks for once you retrieve your data. Okay, so at this time I'm using a user view model, and the two more things we needed. Number one is private swipe refresh layout, and the private RecyclerView, and also one more thing we needed, that is called our adapter. So user adapter, very easy. Now we have to go for our RecyclerView, and that is your RecyclerView find view by ID, that is called your r.id list orders, and also swipe refresh layout is equals to swipe refresh layout find view by ID r.id swipe refresh layout. Okay, so these two things be there. And now we have to make our user view model as a new user view model, this. Okay, and now we have to go for the get data. So you can say call data method be here, alt enter, create method, and in this you have to call your data. So for this, what you have to do, you just simply say user view model dot user get users, and user view model dot user list data dot observe this comma new observe list. Okay, so on change you can get the things be here, and very easy. Now we have to go for on changed. So that means you have to get the things on your recycler view. So that means you need to make your adapter. So user adapter is equals to new user adapter, and this is your main activity dot this comma users. Okay, and this is your recycler view dot set layout manager. This is your new linear layout manager, and this is your main activity dot this. okay, and also be your RecyclerView dot set adapter as an user adapter. So all this get data be ready for. And now if you want to go for your swipe refresh layout dot on refresh listener, new on refresh, you can call this data on refresh, and also swipe refresh layout dot set refreshing false once it's happened. Okay, so let's check what happened with this in your main activity and how it works. So run this Genymotion. So I think now what we have, the simple steps, we just go for our remote, we can get access the data and just push the values with there, and once it pushed with there we can retrieve it. Okay, so the error happened because of it is a get age is integer type, and we have to make it as a string format. So it's working. So if you make it like this, it's good. Once you deal with the errors, you can learn lot of things. So because of it pushing 3 times, so maybe 2 times, sorry, so it may be like this. Okay, so this is your data. So very easy. So that means first you have to, the main motto of this, so first you have to retrieve your data from the server side database and get back the things, push it in a room, and that. So that means you can sync and cross check the things, and you can use the room as only, and make your apps more faster. Okay, so I will describe the on the next video more about these tutorials. So we have to wind up the day. Thank you so much. Thank you again.